Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick recap each week of what's going on in space, and today we'll be talking about the first week of September 2019. Our first story is the James Webb Space Telescope. The Space Telescope has now been fully assembled. It's all been put together. It's a $10 billion project, and it is projected to be launched in 2021, ideally in March. It's an infrared space telescope, so that's the wavelengths that we'll be working with. And it's cost a lot more, and it's taken a lot longer than was originally planned. The eventual location post-launch, it will be maneuvered into the Lagrange point 2. We had a little bit of excitement. The European Space Agency had a satellite, and the calculations were there was a greater than 1 in 10,000 chance that it could hit one of the SpaceX Starlink satellites. So ESA did a maneuver to preclude the possibility of a collision in space. And due to a glitch in the SpaceX systems, they did not get the timely notification that this was going on. So SpaceX is going to address this problem. And as we get more and more traffic up there, we'll have, I guess, more close calls. There's a Swiss company called Astrocast, and their focus is the Internet of Things, which is a vastly growing arena. The news is they raised $9 million in a Series A round, and what they want to do with it is build out an IoT constellation of satellites. The original plan that they had was 64 satellites, but they are now looking at making the constellation be 80 satellites instead of the 64. So the first operational satellites, they've already launched some test satellites, but the first operational ones, 5 of them, are supposed to launch next year, 2020. And the company does plan another round for in the next 6 months or so to raise $50 million in support of building out the constellation. SpaceX in the news again. Elon Musk did some tweets, and the meat of the tweets is that they are planning to have flights of the orbital Starship prototypes. For clarification, there was the Starhopper, which was the first Starship prototype. The next group is orbital Starship prototypes that have a lot more capability. It's a bigger vehicle with more engines and so forth. What Mr. Musk is saying is that they expect to see the orbital class Starship prototypes flying by the end of the year. And the goal would be to have flights hitting 12 miles of altitude or more this year by these prototypes. He also indicated that his big State of the Union Starship address that he gives once a year or so is going to happen this time on September the 28th, which is my birthday. So thanks, Elon. I'll be watching from the cheap seats to see what you have to say about the Starship progress. India had some problems. They were launching, they did launch a probe to the moon, and it was supposed to be soft landed on the moon's south pole. It had a lander and it had an orbiter. While the orbiter is working fine, it's right now it's circling the moon, has I think it's 8 instruments aboard, taking various readings of the moon. But the lander part of the mission did not go well. They lost communications with the lander when it was, I think, about 2 kilometers above the surface. Excuse me. And the lander crash landed on the surface of the moon. So congratulations to India on the orbiter, which is doing well, and condolences on the fate of the lander. I presume that India will work again. And it was a very exciting mission to land at the south pole of the moon, because the poles of the moon are where we are 99% sure there's large varieties, large amounts rather, of ice that can be harvested for drinking water, for rocket propellants, for chemistry, for all kinds of things. So we need to find out more about the poles, and unfortunately, India was unsuccessful with the lander part. And it's not just India. Other nations have more of a focus on the moon. Private industry is focusing more and more on the moon. And this is calling greater and greater attention to the legal aspects of utilizing space-based resources. While there's a lot of ice, everyone thinks, at the lunar poles, it's not unlimited, and it is geographically fairly concentrated. So what are the rules going to be about who can go there, who can mine it, who can use it for what? What are all the guidelines for this? And there's various international treaties in play. Different governments have promulgated rules about how it will be treated in their nations. But the problem is this uncertainty makes it hard to get the capital formation needed to mount big lunar programs or other space programs that are focused on lunar resources or asteroidal resources. So we need to get these things wrapped up so they'll be easier for the firms to get the financing that they need to move forward. That's it for Space Headlines in the first week of September 2019. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you in a week or so with the second week of September. Take care.